Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Build Your Dream Network virtual water cooler. And here we are bright and early on a Monday. And I'm so excited to be here with my friends, Wendy and Dana. They are midlife reinvention, not just career, because we reinvent a lot of things midlife. Midlife reinvention experts. You are both certified coaches. Thank you for being here.
We're so excited to be with you.
Yes.
So you guys didn't start out, well, I mean, you've reinvented your own careers, but you've had, like me, career paths that started other places. Wendy, talk to me. Where'd your career start, and where did that reinvention, pivot point, where did that happen for you?
Good Lord, pivot point or points. I started out, my education's in psychology, and everyone thought I thought that was where I was going. And I ended up in public relations for a major nonprofit as a national spokesperson. And then I wanted a different life than that. I had basically 4 hours to get on a plane if something bad happened in the world. And I wanted a different life than that as a mom. So I pivoted into that world. And then I pivoted to help my husband build a company. And we built a great company that we both kind of hated. And so I went back to my roots and said, okay, what am I really good at? Throughout all of that, I was the coach. I was the person who brought people up in the company. I never stopped learning in my favorite field of psychology. And so I went back, I got certified, I became a coach, and I started my first of 3 coaching companies that I still have. They're successful, and I love doing the work that I do. And one of those 3 is with my groovy partner, Dana Hilmer. And so I'll let her tell you a little bit about that one.
Oh,
that's why we're here today.
Exactly. We're going to talk a lot about Camp Reinvention, but let's talk about, you, Dana, like what was your reinvention path to where you are now?
I so agree with what both of you have said, is that nobody's career is straight. And I think we put a pressure on ourselves that we're supposed to have this straight line in life, and it just doesn't work that way. So I started off in magazine publishing, was in the publishing world for almost 15 years in New York City, found myself in the corner office, kind of living what I thought success would look like. And I've never been more miserable in my life. And what I realized is I was good at what I did, but it didn't mean it was right for me. And I was checking the boxes, right? I was marketing assistant, marketing associate, on up to director level, checking those boxes. Everything looked great on paper, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the work I want to do in the world. I wasn't making a difference or making an impact the way I wanted to. And at the end of the day, I want to be helping people with people. I didn't ultimately care about advertising pages. So that was kind of the first pivot. And fast forward to kids, did a couple cool projects, a podcast and a book that I published called Blind Side of My Diaper. I had my own podcast called Lifestyle Mom. And I was doing some product spokesperson work at the time, and as the lifestyle mom. And, I was representing 4 and 5 products. I was doing television and radio interviews across the country. And there was a day that I'll never forget where I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I am representing products I am not aligned with. This is so not what I want to be putting out in the world. So I'm a slow learner, apparently. So at that point, I literally found myself sick in the bathroom after 25 TV and radio interviews because I was becoming physically ill. I'm like, how am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this work that is not, like, I kept justifying it's good money. It's, so I think this is what we do to ourselves. We end up kind of silencing this voice that we know that we have. And everything, I was doing this work, justifying it because it was a way to make money with kids. Ultimately, it was good experience, right? To have that experience doing the media work. But I ignored that voice. I kept trying to shove it down. Right. And it wasn't until that moment that I was like, that's it. I'm going to do the work that is true to me. And I found the world of positive psychology, which is the science of human potential, the science of resilience and goal setting, and then became certified as a coach as well. So So yeah, sometimes we have to hit a place where we're really asking ourselves, how the heck am I here?
How did this happen?
Before we actually make a change. I hope for the people that we work with that they don't reach that point, because that's a painful place to be.
Well, you know what? You hit an interesting kind of comment and phenomenon, and I'm sort of thinking, you know, I want to dive into how Camp Reinvention came about and why this focus on women 50 plus. But, you know, is there something in the fact that, you know, we as women feel such responsibility, or we feel a pressure that we can't say, this sucks. I want to, you know, hey, I'm not living my true life. Like, is there I don't want to say fear, because sometimes I think, you know, we justify things and we continue plodding along, but any thoughts on why we, you know, keep going even when that voice inside is like, all right, you're not listening to me, so I'm going to make this really bad.
Kelly,
I'm going to make you barf in a bathroom bad, so you stop doing what you're doing.
About that question, when do you go first?
I think the good girl culture taught us that there is something really noble about suck it up, buttercup, right? There's something really noble that I'm going to do the thing that I hate to do for the greater good. And that makes me a good girl, and it makes me a good person. And depending on what your culture of origin is, some of our religious backgrounds and cultural backgrounds also reinforce that, right? I grew up Italian Catholic, and let me tell you something, my aunts were like martyrs. They were martyr mothers. They were like that. The dream was to have your kids say, "Oh, my mother sacrificed everything for me," you know. And I never wanted to be that. I never wanted to be that woman as a model for other women, or certainly for my kids. And yet, even though I knew that in my heart, and I knew what I believed, it was really, really, and still sometimes is, hard to make the decision to not, right? To not sacrifice for the greater good, to not be in suck it up buttercup mode.
Yeah. Dana.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is, I think that so many of us kind of go through our life with this image of what life is supposed to be, right? We have images from the day we're born, I mean, honestly, in the media, and it gets reinforced over time as to who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to show up in the world at any given age, what's acceptable, what's not, what does success look like? And we make our early choices based on that. So we make our choices, we start our career, and we're pursuing what we think is going to make us happy. We're pursuing what we think success is supposed to look like. And then we hit 50-ish and we realize, wait a minute, you know, maybe I was really successful, but this isn't what I want for the rest of my life. Or, you know what, I was pursuing this thing that I kind of don't care about. And it gets harder and harder to give yourself permission to get off that track, right?
Yeah.
And I think at this stage of our life, I think more and more women, well, first of all, I mean, in terms of opportunity, there's more women over age 50 than any other time in history. We are more educated, more accomplished. We have longer lifespans. There are so many women like us who are feeling like, this is my time. Like, this is when I get to do my thing. And I think there's a reassessment that happens with this age naturally. And it's also happening even that much more because of COVID.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Before we talk about what's happening with Camp Reinvention this year and COVID, how did you two come together and say, wow, there's a need here and we're going to fill it?
You want to tell that story, or you want me to?
Why don't you start it and then I'll embellish? How's that sound?
All right. Okay. So
it sounds like you need to get like that rhinestone stutter out. I know, like, you know, let's get this.
I think we have different angles that we can share.
So we travel in the same circles professionally as coaches, and we live in the same state. So we were in a lot of the same women's networking groups, and we just kind of dug each other. So whenever we ran into one another, it'd be like, oh my gosh, there's that Dana Hilmer. I love her. We'd chat. And then I am a terrible follow-up person, and Dana is an amazing follow-up person. And she would send me emails. We should have lunch. And I'd say, yes, we have to. And it never happened. And like a couple of years went by like this, where we'd run into one another once in a while. And I was speaking at a women's organization, and Dana was there. And she came up to me after. She was like, let's go have a cup of coffee across the street. Perfect. We go across the street, we sit down, we have a cup. Well, I have coffee. Dana does not drink coffee, which is bizarre to me that she's never even tasted it.
I just don't like it.
She's an iced tea girl.
We're in the same camp.
Oh,
are you?
I know. Two weirdos, Wendy. All right, keep going.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I had a big, awesome coffee, and Dana had an iced tea, and we're sitting there and we're just talking about this work that we do. Both of us work with women who are transitioning in their lives, whether it's a divorce or empty nest or a health crisis, or just there's something more for me, I don't know what it is. And we're talking about all the legs of that stool, right? All of the things that make it work, make it gel. And as we're talking about it, we're listening to ourselves and we're thinking, we're no fun at all. We're so serious. Like, what would it be like if we took this work that we do and made it fun and like added an element of like just playfulness and joy to it? And like in that moment, we were like, oh my God, camp. It's Camp Reinvention. And right there at that table, we thought, okay, this is a project and we're going to take this project on. And we did. I'll let Dana tell you a little bit about that. And then it evolved into a business. And certainly like our like joint love is Camp Reinvention.
Yeah, total passion project. You know, it's interesting. And I think our story, and I'll expand for a second, is kind of an example too, that we want to help people understand that when you're starting a business or when you're starting something, you don't have to have the whole dang plan in place. Like sometimes you just start and it evolves. And that's really what happened to us. So we started Camp Reinvention in January 2020. It started off as a 6-month program. We started it with a retreat up at Mohonk Mountain House in New York. It went so well. And again, this was just kind of a cool project. It wasn't really meant to be a business yet. It went so well. We're like, oh my gosh, we have got something so powerful here. So we thought, let's do it again, right? So we set up the next 2 programs, next 2 retreats. COVID happened, had to cancel everything. And so then we decided, all right, well, what if we could bring this online and help more women online and do it at a much lower price point? It's a difficult time for everybody. So we started Camp Reinvention online as a membership program with about 70 women as a pilot. And I have to say, we are so proud and humbled, I think, to be part of this process with this amazing group of women. The women that are in this program are women like us, Kelly. Like they're women like us who are just trying to figure out, like, how am I going to be vibrant and relevant and healthy and doing all these great things that I want to do as I get older? I don't want to get older like my mom did. I don't want to get older like my grandma did. And so we realized we have this program that, you know, again, the feedback we've gotten has been just nothing short of amazing. And to be with these women on this journey has been great. And also, because it was started during COVID, it became kind of a lifeline, I think, for a lot of people. I think what really happens in programs online too, any program for that matter that brings people together, but online, is you bring people together from all parts of the country, in some cases parts of the world, and you realize you're not alone. You know, like we wrestle with all this crap in our head, and we realize that all these other amazing women are dealing with the same limiting beliefs, patterns where they feel stuck, you know, reasons that they don't give themselves permission to pursue what they want. They're all dealing with the same thing. Yeah. And so to bring people together in that kind of environment has been, you know, just amazing. And the women that were in that first cohort, that first camp, they meet every week or every other week without us. Like they are each other's posse, you know? So I think, again, to meet women at this stage of our life, because we realize we want more and we want that connection. And it's so much easier to make changes in your life with people that are doing it too, right?
Yeah. That's, I mean, the getting out of your own crazy making head and realizing that you're not alone. Now, the two of you have been working with women who have been reinventing their lives for some time. What have you noticed? Like, you know, let's have that little COVID conversation. Like, what do you know? What's different now? What's different with women wanting to reinvent after age 50 now, like than maybe, you know, 2, 3, 4 years ago that you were seeing?
You know, we really started noticing a lot of heavy career focus. Everything changed with COVID. The way we work, where we work, the opportunities for work whether in corporate or business structures, brick and mortar structures, or how we run our own businesses or start businesses. And we noticed that more and more people were focused on those kinds of transitions. Some because they had to, right? Their jobs went away or changed so much that they were no longer viable for them. And some because they realized, what I thought was important about this career is no longer important to me. And, and at the same time, like, we're not the only ones that notice this, right? The whole world noticed this. And there are all of these articles coming out about ageism in the workplace and what's happening to women in the workplace and how long it takes to find a job and how hard it is to start a business. And meanwhile, these women in our Camp Reinvention program are landing these incredible jobs in different industries than they had worked in, or starting businesses, are like proving the statistics wrong, are like the outliers, right? We thought, holy cow, here's something that we can kind of focus on, because it's a shift. It's definitely, if not a shift, an intensifying of that career transition at 50. Would you agree, Dana?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting. We found that the women in the program that Wendy mentioned, they're making amazing changes in all areas of their life, including their career. And that's going through our program that is really super robust, really kind of growing that women behind the goal. Like, whatever it is you want to create in your life, you have to become the person that can create it, right? And so our whole process is about bringing that woman to that place, helping her let go of what she needs to let go of, helping her get clarity, and helping her grow into being that person. So they accomplish these things with our program alone. But what we realized is it's really hard to sort through the noise of who is the expert for LinkedIn, who is that amazing networking expert, who is the expert that I can count on to start my business, to tell me the legal stuff, right? So we realized, like, okay, let's take what we're teaching in this program, let's do it really intensely for 12 weeks, but let's bring in all the experts, because looking for a job now, it's not what it was.
Well, exactly. Well, let's walk through this, and I'd love to get some examples and stuff. Let's walk through what this program, because we hinted at the beginning that we're going to walk through this, but I also just want to stress, picking up on something Wendy said, and that we've kind of hinted at the edges, we reinvent within our existing careers. And so when we talk about Camp Reinvention, this is not just for women who are like, screw this, I'm not going back into the office, I'm going to start something new, or I can't handle the way my company dealt with, COVID, I'm going to go and find a new employer. This may be someone who's like, I'm going to make what I'm doing now work for me, and I'm going to reinvent within the four walls of the career I've got. So am I correct on that? I want to make sure I don't alienate those women or them to think, oh, this is not for them as well.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to say it's women that want to reinvent in any area in their career life. So some people have had a business idea for 30 years. They haven't had the courage to do. Some people have had that creative thing they want to bring out in the world, but they don't know how to monetize it. Some people have been in that industry for 20 or 30 years and they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to do this work, but I want to take the skills that I have and bring it over here. And other people, maybe got out of the workforce for several years, if not 20, as they were raising kids and realizing, I have experience, I have a lot to offer, and I want to get back in and I want to make an impact and I want to find work that can really use my skill set. So I think it's really kind of speaking to all those women. I think we're all in slightly different places.
So it's a point, people like inside of one industry that want to shift positions or grow, break through that glass ceiling within the four walls. Yes.
Okay, so it's a big tent of reinvention, and it is. Come on in. We're gonna have some fun. All right. Walk me through. I know which part I'm playing in all this, and October 20th, I believe that's what's when Kelly gets to come to camp, be camp counselor. Walk me through the entire 12 weeks. Like what's going to happen for these women in this amazing program?
Wendy, I'll let you go ahead since we keep all trying.
Okay, look at it. See, we play so nice at camp. We trade, we share.
We had to wait in line.
So the idea is, over this 12-week program, we've created something that is very intense boot camp style, because most of the women that we talk to feel an urgency. They want to be able to do this quickly. The cool thing that we've done with this design, though, is we've made it so that if you're someone who doesn't want that intensity and wants to be able to stretch it out and kind of go at your own pace, the program will work for you too. So over 12 weeks, once a week, we're going to have a call with Dana and I, where we're going to take you through that transformational process, building that woman behind the goal, making sure that you've shed all of those limiting beliefs, all of that good girl gunk, all of the rules that you follow that you don't actually believe in anymore, and really own your own confidence, trust your decision-making skills, and have a map for your future that works for you. And we've got a really specific and we think incredibly functional way of goal setting and attainment that's very different than like the old SMART goals format, right? So this mapping forward to reach your goals. And Dana and I take you through that process. Then we have, in addition to the amazing Kelly Hoey, who's going to talk about networking, we have 27 top tier experts that are going to come on once a week in 2 different tracks of learning. So each week, there'll be one expert that's going to speak to folks who are in that new business track. I want to start a side gig, or I want to start a business. Each week, there will also be a call from an expert in the new job track, or expand my job within the industry track, right? And so those experts cover things from LinkedIn and networking and negotiating salary and creating a digital resume and having a modern interview in this Zoom world where you have 10 interviews sometimes for one job, how to master all of that stuff in the job track. And in the new biz track, we've got the folks who teach social media and making videos, and the legal experts and trademark and intellectual property and just all of those things that you need. So we've got it all for you. And you can come to just the one call a week and listen to recordings. You can pop into the experts live, right, as they're making their calls. But all of it's recorded. All of the materials, everything, you have lifetime access in our learning platform. So you really can go at your pace. And we're putting you in these also little tiny coaching pods where you can get the support that you say, wow, I want to move fast, but I'm feeling stuck. How do I do it? We're there to coach you. Wow, this is so much. It feels overwhelming. How do I manage this so I can make the most out of it all? We're there to help you. So we're there to like hold your hand and really help you tailor the experience and how you use this program so that it meets your goals and who you are and how you like to function and how you function best.
So good. Dana.
The other thing I wanted to add too is, again, we really want to make sure that everybody feels very supported and is very supported throughout the whole program. So the experts, yourself included, of course, have agreed to answer questions, to make themselves available during the program. So we do have a closed online community where the participants can pop in and say, hey, Kelly, you talked about such and such. I have a question for you. And they have access to the experts to get those questions answered. Some of the experts will be in the Facebook group and, really answering right there. Other experts, other questions we will be compiling, making sure the experts get the question saying, hey, so-and-so is asking this question of you. We'll make sure we get back to that person within 24 hours. So we really want to make sure that people know that it isn't a summit. Sometimes you see these summits where you have all these experts and the expert comes in and speaks for 10 minutes and then gives a sales pitch. This isn't what that is. Every single expert has agreed for 90 minutes to teach a class all in on teaching everything they know to help this person succeed in this topic, and then is there to support them during the whole 12 weeks to obviously answer all the questions and provide the support as needed. So it's a really robust program. I have to say, we have never seen anything like this. So
yeah, I'm really excited. Can you tell we're excited?
So am I. Part of this for me is too, you're hitting on things that I've hit at different points in my life and making my own career pivots. It is addressing this great need, but it's also doing it. It's not like, hey, I recorded this and here you go. It's live, and I'm going to say it's like the best of all the things we want as human beings in terms of being supportive, connecting with community, having questions answered, being able to go off and reflect and think, no, I got something else. And you don't want to feel like, oh, gee, I missed my opportunity to ask that expert that question. I also love, and I go back again to sort of thinking about the woman who may be wanting to continue to advance in the role she's in, but knowing or anticipating a reinvention, but the timing's just a little off. But this is also what you're saying is someone who has a side hack or an idea, they can do the career track to advance where they are now and reinvent within that space. And they have access to, oh, gee, well, maybe once Junior's off at college, or I've, put more money in my retirement because it's been slow, like whatever, then I can pursue this. And you've got all that information.
The other thing I want to share too, first of all, with these tracks of learning that Wendy mentioned, the participants have access to everything. So you can literally learn from everybody, not only live, but also by recording. But I also want to mention too, that as you enter a program like this, you don't need to have the answers. You don't need to know yet what your job is that you're looking for or what businesses you're trying to create. The Camp Reinvention process, a lot of it's going to help you with that clarity. So you can go through completely clueless. I just know I need to change, and go through our process and still attend those experts if you choose to live, or know that, at the end of this 12 weeks, I have clarity. I know what I want. And now I can go back and listen to all those, right? So it really meets you where you're at. You don't need to have the answers before heading into the program. And that's a big part of what we help with, right?
Yeah.
Is that clarity piece.
Yeah. Well, you're not, nothing you'd need less than entering a program to make you even feel worse that you don't know what you want to do or don't have your goal.
This is true.
Anything else before we wrap up at the water cooler today? I know we're going to put a link below in the comments for where folks can get more information, sign up. When does camp start? Live?
Yes. Program starts next Thursday, or this Thursday, actually. This Thursday, October 14th. Okay. So program starts this Thursday. Definitely want to act quickly. We will not offer the program again until this time next year. So we're offering it once a year. So if you're in that place where you're looking for a change, we will do it again, but it's not going to be for another year. There's something else I was going to share. Oh, if you have any questions too, you can always feel free to reach out to Wendy and I. You can reach us at hello@campreinvention.com. We'll be happy to hop on the phone with you, answer any questions you have. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah,
and we want to see you at camp.
Yes.
Yeah, just summer camp for kids, and then we used to do September camp. This is like, all my friends in Ontario who were campers, and then once they, were too old for summer camp, they got to go to adult September camp. So I'm having that feeling. I'm just so thrilled to be here chatting with you. I'm honored to be part of your 27 experts. I am looking forward to seeing all the women who come and join us for this midlife reinvention. And I don't consider myself quite midlife yet, so we can discuss that another day.
It's either.
We are much younger than we're ever going to be, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, we can have a debate on when midlife starts at a different point, but this is a damn good time to reinvent. So happy to be part of your tribe, your community. Wendy, Dana, thanks so much, and I'll see you at camp.
We'll see you at camp. All right.
Thanks for having us, Kelly. This was fun.
Oh, so fun. Thank you both.